Well. Apparently, there's been quite a hit to Twitter over the weekend as several high-profile bannings took place, and Joe Rogan tweeted out to his 8 million or so Twitter followers to support an alt-tech platform. Is it the alt-tech platform I would have liked he supported? Not necessarily. There's still some questions about the financial backing of GETTR, but I'm starting to get a clearer picture and becoming a little more okay with it, especially given the fact that, well, Chinese money is in literally everything. They own the Sears Tower, for crying out loud. So it's a little difficult to kind of choose to end yourself on that hill or whatever. But interesting story. And is it going to disrupt Twitter at all? Because, that's really the question here. Let me give you a brief synopsis, okay? So late last week, a prominent doctor, I'll say, was suspended from Twitter for, how can I put this? Disagreeing with the narrative, okay? I'm not saying the narrative is inherently incorrect. It's just that's what he was essentially banned for. Then a government official, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has said some interesting things in the past, had her personal account banned, which got the red individuals on Twitter to all be promoting GETTR, GETTR, which is a Twitter alternative. And if you've watched this channel, you know I promote alt tech. Heck, it's in the sidebar. Mine's, well, Twitch isn't alt tech. I still have to update it and remove Parler because I don't really use that anymore. But Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, I use Gab. I mean, I'm promoting for these people for free, okay? There are very few channels on YouTube that dedicate as much time as I do to promoting alt tech. Six Hexenhammer is probably a better example because he does exclusives, which is something I really need to do in 2022. But nonetheless, I promote a lot of alt tech, even if it's imperfect. Andrew Torba, the owner of Gab, has had some very public spats with me, and I don't know that I necessarily care for the guy, but his product is good, and I still promote it and I use it. And to me, it's the best Twitter alternative that exists based on, its infrastructure and its ownership structure. It's owned by this dude. It's hosted independently, and it has the most reasonable, I'll say, speech rules. Platforms like GETTR, people don't know this, but platforms like GETTR have banned a lot of high-profile individuals before they ever even had a chance to break terms of service. There are 3 or 4 high-profile right-wing individuals that have some interesting opinions, I suppose you could say, but they were banned from GETTR before they ever even got to use the platform. So GETTR is closer to Twitter than Gab is, which is why I still say, which is why I still like Gab. But unfortunately, it seems like the conservative base of the internet has embraced GETTR. So this is the best alternative right now. Parler had a chance until they messed that up. And here's the thing. A lot of these platforms, yes, they are right-wing echo chambers. That's how they start out, because essentially when a new platform comes up, you get a huge influx of people that are already banned, right? That's the problem with these platforms. Inherently, why they end up as an echo chamber, I'll say. Because when a new platform opens up, people who have been banned everywhere else flood it. So your initial base is all the wackadoos, whether you get a good chunk of crazy people populating your platform up front. Then you get the more moderate people, which tend to be right-wing on these platforms. So you end up with a bit of an echo chamber. But Twitter is an echo chamber too, so it isn't inherently, it's used as a negative, but it's just the reality of it. There's some huge problems with alt tech, and I'm actually thinking of making a second video on it today, because it's complex. Every time there's a high profile banning, all the conservatives and moderates out there, rush to promote their alt tech platforms, but none of them actually use the dang things. Like, let's see how much Joe Rogan actually uses GETTR in a week. Even mirror posting. It's like the bare minimum I tell content creators we should all be doing. You see this. So Joe Rogan directs followers to GETTR after Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter ban. Podcaster announced that he's joined the more conservative platform in case Twitter gets even dumber. Again, they label it a conservative platform to keep people off of it. That's the issue. I don't think GETTR or Gab really care about being, although Gab kind of does, but like they don't care about being a conservative platform, or they shouldn't. They shouldn't. They should care about being a platform that welcomes as many people as possible, that has the most reasonable terms of service possible. And guess what? The easiest thing to get people over there would be to have equal enforcement of your own rules. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene and elected officials banned from Twitter, but the Tally have official verified accounts on Twitter. Okay? So I don't want to see that. Anyway, GETTR has had a big day Sunday as Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on the Jason Miller-led social media platform after her permanent ban from Twitter, and podcaster Joe Rogan directed his followers to the site. I remember I saw when Joe Rogan created an account, I said, okay, well, that's good. People are talking about it, but he's got to tell his followers. And he did. Huge credit. He went and sent out a tweet to his 8 million Twitter followers and told him to go get on GETTR. Now, if 100,000 of them do it, 50,000 of them do it, that's amazing. If they stay on it, that's the key. He writes, just in case stuff get over at Twitter gets even dumber, I'm now here as well. He wrote on GETTR, which was founded by the former aide to Donald Trump and increasingly popular with right-wing users. Rogan's account on the site features numerous cross posts of his existing Twitter and Instagram account. On the platform, he has 7.8 million followers, so his push toward the new platform was notable. His Join Me on GETTR tweet got 10,000 retweets in less than 24 hours and prompted cryptocurrency guru Bryce Paul to respond, "Rip Twitter." Twitter permanently suspended Greene's personal account on Sunday after the Republican congresswoman violated their misinformation policies for the 5th time. Her official congressional account is still active, but her most recent post was made on Christmas Eve. Greene was briefly suspended for a week back in August for the same reasons. We've been clear that per our strike system for this policy, we will permanently suspend accounts for repeated violations of the policy. Well, you know what a lot of people are pointing to, though, in this is that there was a lot of information that was pushed by left-wing media for the last year and a half that we now know is incorrect and had very little backing. Okay, they're not getting banned, right? All of us plebs are the ones that get banned for questioning things. And it's awfully interesting to me. When you look at the Twitter stock, it's definitely down today. Took a big drop from 43.63 all the way down to 42.70 today. Is it, it's essentially been falling ever since, the end of the year. The last, over the weekend, or all December 31st, it fell. If I go to a month, you could see basically it's peaked in early December and it's been on a downhill trend. So is it really rip Twitter? I mean, every possible kind of hit helps, but it's whether or not these people will continue to use the platform. The other interesting thing about GETTR that I don't like, okay, everyone now, of course, GETTR suggesting Joe Rogan, thanks. Look, I have 168 interactions on this, 285 interactions, 512 interactions on Sunday. Like, this is good. But for a long time, GETTR was a ghost town. I also don't like this. It says I have 130.4 followers, but 130,000.4. That's incorrect. I actually have, according to this, see, they put this, He also has 119,000 followers from Twitter, which means I actually have, 119 and 130. So I have 11,000 followers on GETTR. That's good. Why misrepresent this? You know what I mean? Same with Joe Rogan, right? 8.3 million followers, but he has 7.9 million followers from Twitter. So he has 400,000 followers on GETTR, which is awesome. Awesome. I just wish they wouldn't misrepresent that. You have some high profile, Dr. Robert Malone, which, the interview on YouTube, and, there's been various conversations about videos getting removed. He embraced alternative social networks after Twitter ban. Again, I don't know where this is. Is this Gab? He's got 77.4 thousand followers. That's good. We have to stop thinking in terms of, oh my God, we have to have the same number of followers that I do on Twitter. I have 100. How many followers do I have on Twitter? Okay. Let's see. 152.3 thousand. I would say less than 1,000 of them regularly interact with me. So I don't give a crap about the other 150,000 that aren't interacting with me. So, really GETTR's got to get rid of that. It's got to just show your actual followers. I know it might be embarrassing for them that the numbers are so much smaller, but it's worse to obfuscate the truth. And is it really rip Twitter? Well, I think anytime you have high profile bannings and people leave, it's good for the economy. It's good for the entire social media sphere. There are some questions I have about GETTR's money, where they're getting their money. But I intend to find out the truth because they'll talk to me. They've been very responsive to me. And, for now, I have a GETTR account. I also have a Gab account. And let me point out that Gab doesn't inflate your followers. I have 1.8 thousand followers on Gab. That's good. And if you look, I get pretty good interaction. People on this platform use it. And while it's not in the App Store, you can download the APK and install it on your phone. And if you're not a total boomer, you should be able to do that. It's not that difficult. So is it rip Twitter? Not necessarily, but anytime there's a little, you can kind of chop a little bit off, I'm a huge fan of that. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.